Julie Ryan, noted psychic and medical intuitive, is ready to answer your personal questions, even those you never knew you could ask. For more than 20 years, as she's developed and refined her intuitive skills, Julie used her knowledge as a successful inventor and businesswoman to help others. Now, she wants to help you grow, heal, and get the answers you've been longing to hear. Do you have a question for someone who's transitioned? Do you have a medical issue? What about your pet's health or behavior? Perhaps you have a loved one who's close to death and you'd like to know what's happening. Are you on the path to fulfill your life's purpose? No matter where you are in the world, take a journey to the other side and ask Julie Ryan.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Ask Julie Ryan show. I'm Julie, your host, and I'm so delighted you could join us this evening. My intention in doing this show is to provide information, insight, and comfort to people all around the world by helping to answer life's unanswerable questions. We have several callers on hold this evening, so I'm looking forward to talking to them and seeing what they have to say and what their questions are. And to all of you that are in the middle of this blizzard, holy moly, you guys, it looks like it is really something else. My first job when I moved out of school, when I got out of school, was in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and I lived through a couple of blizzards up there. And I used to think, how did the pioneers do this? You know, in covered wagons and log cabins, and holy goodness. So I saw this evening that Denver's without power, and you know, waist deep snow in a lot of places. And I hope you're all warm, and by the time you hear this, hopefully it will have started to melt, and you'll be in the thaw of things. For the rest of us, we've got a lot of wind down here in Alabama, which is too bad because it's gorgeous. All of our fruit trees are in bloom, and it's just beautiful everywhere you go. And we are in the middle of thunderstorms. So if you hear a boom during the show, it's just thunder happening. But anyways, couple of housekeeping things. My new angelic attendant training session is going to start the first Saturday in April, and it goes for 4 Saturdays. So consider looking into that. What we do is we learn how everybody who takes the class learns how to communicate with spirit, both alive and deceased, and communicate with any animal or pet, alive and deceased. And everybody that took the class last session, which I think there were 8 of us, there were 8 students and me, so 9 of us, in 4 different countries, they have absolutely magical things happening in their lives. So it's fun watching it all unfold for them. And we're all in touch on a Facebook group. So we're staying in touch even though the session is over. And I would love to have you join us in the next session. So consider that. Next week, I will be attending my nephew's wedding, and there will not be a live show. But I am taping an interview that will air next week, and then I'll be back the following week, and I'll put an announcement up on social media to remind you of that. But just wanted you to know there will not be a live taping next week. Okay, let's go to the phone and see who's joined us this evening. I believe our first caller is Marcia. Hi, Marcia.
Hi, Julie. Colleen
How
from
are you?
Carlsbad, California. I'm doing really well.
Right. Terrific. Well, good. Before we got started, I said, "You're not in snow, are you?" And she said, "No." I thought,
no,
well, good.
I grew up in Minnesota, so I went through those same blizzards you did.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I just can't do that anymore. I'm spoiled, and we had all kinds of painted lady butterflies today. So it was just a migration, and because of all the rain we'd had and all the rain in the deserts and everything's blooming, so we just had this crazy amount of butterflies all day. It's kind of fun.
I bet. Well, terrific.
Yeah.
It's got to be symbolic for something.
Transformation.
There you go. Sounds good to me. Springtime, transformation, all of that. Well, terrific.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, good. Well, how may I help you this evening?
Well, last week we chatted, and I was concerned about this line on my face, and I was going to be going to the dermatologist. And you said, "Hey, call back and let me know how it turned out." So anyway, it turned out just as you thought. Just kind of a scratch, and she gave me an antibiotic to put on that. So hopefully that will, heal it up, and the rest of my full body scan was fine. So I'm always happy when that happens.
Wonderful.
So, no cancer stuff going on. But you also helped me before that with my father-in-law, who was getting close to passing, and you said it was kind of accelerated, and it was accelerated, and he did pass a week or two ago. Oh. And I'm just wondering, it's okay. He was ready to go, and he had some dementia in the end, and he was just sleeping a lot, and in a lot of pain, and so he was almost 90, so I mean, he had a good life.
Life well lived, hopefully.
Yeah, it was. And just wondering if you might be able to connect with him and see how he's doing.
Sure, absolutely. You've read my book. You've read my book, right, Marcia Angelica Tendons?
No, not yet.
Okay.
But, I've read a lot of similar stuff, and I was telepathically kind of communicating with him throughout his transition.
Okay.
But it's always nice to see what other people get.
Well, mine I think is different from most of the other ones out there that I know about, because it talks about what's happening when somebody is dying, and deceased loved ones and angels that are around them, and
you're right. And the phases. Yeah, no one else has the phases, and the phases of transition, and the stage they're in. The stage of
right.
Yeah, right. So that is very unique.
And then the other thing is there are several stories about families with whom I've worked, and they're really heartwarming. So I encourage you to get a copy. You can get it either in paperback or digital, for a Kindle, and also in audiobook. And I would encourage you to read it or listen to it, because I think it'll be interesting to you, number one, especially with your skill sets that you're able to communicate. But also, I think the stories will be really heartwarming for you. And I talk about in there also about what happens when somebody's in surgery. And people tell me that they enjoy reading about what my journey has been as far as learning how to do this kind of work. Because, I didn't know that I could do this. It's not like I was one of those little kids with dead people chasing her. If I did, I didn't know it. I learned how to do all of it. So
very interesting that you learned how to do it all, and it never really came naturally when you started to want to learn about it.
It really didn't. But I think we're all born with the ability to do it.
Yeah.
And it's just learning to enhance that ability, and that's what I talk about in the book as well. So I think you might find that interesting too. So you can get it. You can get it at Amazon, Barnes and Noble. You can get it at the library, and the audiobook's on Hoopla, which is the library download as well, or audiobook.
Great.
So
I love listening and walking at the same time. When I do for my walks, so that's nice.
Do. And when I published it, I really wanted it to be in the libraries, which is why I set it up the way that it is, so that it could be in the libraries. Actually, I'm speaking in a library next month, a big library that has asked me to come speak. So,
great.
Anyway, okay. Remind me of your father-in-law's name, Marcia.
Dan, although his given name is Fiore, Italian.
Right.
But he was in Cape Coral, Florida, when he passed in the hospital there.
Yeah. I remember you saying your husband was down there.
Yeah, he had been down there. Mm-hmm.
Good. Yep. And I remember you saying that Dan had a really good sense of humor.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah, fine. Okay, what would you like to know?
Just how he's doing, how his transition was, and what is he doing? What is he up to, and how is he feeling, and who came to meet him and everything?
The words that came in as far as how was your transition that he said was fast and fabulous. The words were fast and fabulous.
Okay.
So that was good. All of his deceased loved ones, his parents were at his feet. Again, I talk about this in the book. That's always standard. What happened? It was effortless. He says it's a lot easier than being born.
Okay.
The transition.
Okay.
So he's around you guys all the time. He's around his other loved ones at the same time. We're made in the image and likeness of God, and I believe that means we're in the image and likeness of God in spirit form, so we can be with multiple people all at the same time. And that's what he's doing.
That's true. Yeah, my husband isn't as open as I am, and he's going through his own grieving process, and of course, so he hasn't had any connection with him. But I asked his father to give us a sign, and my husband walked in the house shortly thereafter, and he had some kind of oil spot on his tennis shoe, and I mean, he just marked up the whole carpet. So I mean, I think that was one of his signs, because I know when I visited them in Cape Coral, he would always have fingerprints everywhere. He'd come in from the garage and he'd be hanging onto a wall, and his prints would be everywhere. So I don't know. I just thought that was kind of funny. But so anyway, some people aren't as open to receiving the messages or the connection as others, and I don't know. Do you have any suggestions for someone like him that could?
I do.
What?
I do. Have him read my book, because it's way more literal than woo-woo. I mean, it has woo-woo in there, but my background as a businesswoman and an inventor, and the fact that I learned how to do all of this, it puts a different spin on it from reading a book, about somebody who's just been involved in the spiritual stuff. Not to negate that, but for somebody who's not into that, it's more palatable. I find, number one.
He's more intellectual and more AAA personality, so I'm sure he would enjoy that more.
That's number one. And number two, Dan wants you to know that when you guys smell orange blossoms, that he said that's going to be a sign that he's around you.
Okay. Well, that's a beautiful smell.
It is.
I have an essential oil that I use sometimes. I put some orange on today.
Well, there you go.
So uplifting and nice. So
how interesting. So there you go. Well, that's when he's telling me when you smell orange blossoms, I'm thinking of orange orchards, and there aren't that many of them in your area that much anymore. But they certainly are very plentiful in Florida, and the orange blossoms are different smelling in Florida than they are in California. It's a different.
I suppose. Yeah. We have a lot of lemon trees, probably more lemons than oranges. But,
well, he said orange blossoms, so that must have to do with that oil that you put on today.
It probably did. Well, that's nice. I kind of feel his energy right now, so I think that's a nice confirmation.
Good.
So I think I'll get your book, and I'll have my husband read it for sure first.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, thanks so much for calling in, and our condolences to you and your family, but it sounds like you're doing well with processing all of that.
Oh, I'm really good with it, and good luck, and have fun with your nephew's wedding next week. Sounds very exciting.
Be fun. Okay.
Yeah.
Take care, Marcia.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And our next caller is LaShonda. Hi, LaShonda.
Hi, Julie.
How are you, girl?
How are you? Pretty good. Been busy, but doing well. How about yourself?
I'm well, thanks. Please tell everybody where you're calling in from.
West Palm Beach, Florida.
All right. Do you have oranges that far south, or are they more just in the middle of the state?
Farther south.
Yeah? You have them down there, too, out in the boonies?
I'm sorry, say that again?
You have, I know there aren't that many orange groves around where you live, but maybe out from the city, there are more.
Maybe a little bit farther north. Not that many down here.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking.
Central Florida?
Yeah.
Definitely Central Florida.
Right. Orlando and all that, I know, has a lot of them.
Yes, just a little bit, and a little bit south of that, maybe. Yeah, just a little bit south of that, but not as far down. I'm sure there are a few around somewhere, but not as many.
Okay. Probably at somebody's patio.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Good. Well, you got a question for me?
Just curious, just want an okay that I'm okay, or maybe I need to watch something. I just noticed my feet are swelling this week, and I was wondering, is it because I've been running around, or there's something I need to watch out for?
Okay. All right. Well, let me get you on my radar, and I'll take a look and see what's going on. What that means to those of you that are first-time listeners is I raise my vibrational level to the level of spirit, because when our spirits are attached to a body, the body has mass, and so it slows down the vibration. So I've learned how to, I was just talking to Marcia about it, I've learned how to raise my vibrational level, and I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to watch a laser beam go from my body here in Birmingham, Alabama, going to hook into LaShonda in West Palm in Florida. And then I'm going to shoot energy from your feet up through the top of your head, LaShonda, and it will be as if I'm looking at an X-ray or a CT scan or an MRI. So here we go, and we'll see what's going on with your feet swelling. Okay, got you shooting energy. Okay, so it has to do with something that you've eaten, and it had preservatives in it. Did you eat in a restaurant that you normally don't eat in, or did you eat something out of a box that you don't normally eat?
Every day. Every meal. Every day, every meal.
Every day, every meal you eat out of a box?
Well, it's not home cooked. That's for sure. I seldom cook. Not that I can. I just, not my thing.
Yeah. Okay. That's what it's from. You ate something that had some preservatives in it. Probably soy is what I'm getting. Have you had anything with soy that you know of, like Chinese food or anything? Or soy is an ingredient in a lot of prepackaged stuff. So check.
True.
Read the labels.
Okay, because I mostly eat out, not necessarily the box, but almost every meal is out, even breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
I usually get it on the go.
Yeah.
So
that's what it is. That's what's causing it. Drink a lot of water and go for a walk. That will help you get the swelling down, and you'll flush it out. I just flushed it out energetically for you, but lots of water will help.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Okay. Well, thanks for joining us this evening.
My pleasure. Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Have a good week. Bye-bye.
All right.
All right. Let's see who's next. I believe it's Carol. Hi, Carol.
Hi there, Julie. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing great, mostly.
Good.
Hopefully.
Please tell everybody where you're calling in from.
I'm calling in from the East Bay area in California.
Okay. Terrific.
Okay.
And that's near San Francisco, to those of you that don't know that.
Right.
Okay.
I have a couple questions for you.
Yes, ma'am.
My hearing just is getting worse and worse and worse. And I've gone through a couple of pairs of hearing aids. The last pair I just finished paying for, I lost a couple of years ago. They just kind of pop out of my ears. But the problem with hearing aids is they just increase the sound totally. So that means that you get all of the noise. Does not necessarily increase people's voices, and I still can't understand voices. Okay? So my question with the hearing is, should I get cochlear implants? Would that be the next best thing for me?
I got a yes before the question was even out.
Okay, that's my gut feeling was that's where I should go with that. Okay.
The other thing, though, Carol, is I know several people that have hearing aids or people who have had hearing aids and they're now deceased. And that's the complaint that I hear a lot, is that it's the background noise that really is a problem. And I know a couple people that have been able to see therapists and they've been able to tweak their hearing aid to help lessen the background noise and increase the person who's speaking.
Increase the person. Mm-hmm. But, okay, hearing aids are not cheap. I mean, they're like $10.
Oh, I know.
I mean, I spent the last pair was $7,500, and the first pair I spent $5,000 on.
Wow.
So, but the cochlear implants, I think insurance would pay for.
That would be great.
Yeah. So that's why I was, and I think that would help with being able to distinguish voices.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was why I was wanting to know, would that be the best thing?
Mm-hmm. I get it. It will be very successful, and it's in your best interest to do it if you can swing it.
Okay. Then my next question is, I am in pain most of the time with a sciatic nerve. The pain is, they tell me that it's pinched on the left, but the pain is on the right side, and it goes down from my hip all the way down my leg to my foot even.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get a decent night's sleep even. I mean, it just hurts most of the time.
Mm.
Should I try the stem cell shot?
Well, obviously you've been to see the doctor about this. What are they saying?
I've had several shots in my spine that they do this, where they put, what is it? I can't think of it right now.
Cortisone?
The shots in the spine. Where
the cortisone shots?
Yeah, the cortisone shots. I've had several of those. When they first started doing them, they would help. They would help. The first one helped for about 2.5, 3 months. And then the next one was less time and next time. And the last 2 or 3 didn't help at all.
Okay.
So I'm at the point where, there for a while I was just doing nothing but taking pain pills night and day. And I don't want to be on opioids because you can't walk, you can't drive, you can't do anything. I mean, I was confined to the house. I could barely fix myself something to eat, because I was in so much pain, and it just takes the top of the pain off. It doesn't even kill the pain.
Mm-hmm. Just makes you loopy, huh?
Yeah, and then you're loopy, and I don't want to get hooked on them. Number one.
Well, and they're not given as many of them as they used to.
Well, and they're not good for you. I mean, they're terrible on your body. I mean, they made me feel horrible. They're not good for you. And yes, there is a problem with getting enough of them, but I mean, but besides that, they're not good for your body.
Right.
So you got to do something to be able to live with the pain, because when the pain is so bad that you're, ready to pull your hair out.
And they're not. I'm going to get you on my radar in a second, but nobody's talking about that your nerve is hung up on your.
They're not telling me anything about what's going on with it. I mean, I've had so many CAT scans and MRIs and seen several different doctors, and they're just, it may be arthritis, it may be this, it may be that, and they're, and I'm not getting anywhere.
Because the MRIs aren't showing anything conclusive, it sounds like.
I don't know if that's what the problem is. I'm not sure what's going on.
Okay. Well, let me get you on my radar and let's see if I can see what's going on.
Thank you.
So here we go. Here comes my laser beam heading from Sweet Home, Alabama, out to you in the San Francisco Bay Area. Got you shooting. And okay, so you're being turned around. I have a hologram of you in my head. You're being turned around. Yeah, you've got a nerve hung up on your hip is what it looks like to me. Let me get it. And when you move, your hip squeezes it. You know, as the hip joint moves.
Uh-huh.
On the right side is where I see the inflammation. Is that what you told me? It was the right side? Okay, that's what I'm seeing. Let me get that calmed down. Inflammation, Carol, just looks like red fog over body parts. So I'm getting that calmed down with blue anti-inflammatory energy. All right, so I've got you. I'm watching you do different poses. So I see you bending over at the like your hips. So your back is flat and you're bending over. So your back's parallel. You're facing down. You're standing up, but you're facing the floor, and your back is parallel to the floor. And I'm watching that nerve get unhooked. There's a friend of mine that lives in Texas that this happens to her all the time, and it's excruciating. And she'll text me and she'll say, "Can you get my nerve out of my hip?" And that may be why it's not showing up, because it's not pinched when you're laying in the MRI. So,
but at night when I'm laying down in bed, it kills me.
Yeah. Okay. And when you're in different positions, is it relieved? Some of the pain? No.
No.
It's constantly really bad.
Yeah. I can't lay on my right side at all. Mm-hmm. I can't put any pressure at all on my right side.
How about when you stand or when you sit?
Actually, it just hurts, period.
Okay.
It's to the point that the bone in my leg hurts when I stand.
No. Well, I've got the nerve calmed down. It's not inflamed anymore. And I've got it out from your hip joint, so it's not being pinched. I think it hurting a lot has to do with it just being so inflamed and so irritated too.
Okay.
And so it keeps getting exacerbated every time it gets caught in your hip. So what can Carol do to help her relieve pain and
all the way to my hip?
Yeah. What can she do? Well, I know this is probably not what you want to hear, but I'm hearing do yoga and Tai Chi and exercises like that will help increase your flexibility. Some of those, standing more. The Tai Chi might be more, and you should be able to find something online, maybe on YouTube about that, Carol.
Okay.
I do yoga 2 or 3 times a week, and some of those poses, frankly, are probably not things you're going to want to be even attempting, being in as much pain as you're in. But what I'm seeing you do is different poses where, like, your left leg is bent in a position that would be a yoga or a Tai Chi position, and your right arm is reached over your left shoulder.
Okay.
Which helps, with those stretches. And that can help, too, in the short run.
I've tried physical therapy, but physical therapy irritates it and makes it worse.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, I'm seeing you doing gentle, almost like slow motion Tai Chi moves.
Okay.
And you may want to look into that and see if that helps. What I did on the healing was I got that nerve out. Not only did I get it out of your hip joint, but I've got it propped up. I made like a little loop of tissue, almost like a little sling to keep it up so it doesn't get caught. So I'm hoping that's going to give you some relief.
Okay, can you do that to right in the middle of my back there too, at the spine?
Sure. Yeah, you're having pain in your spine as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right there in my spine.
Okay, low back?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it's inflamed. Okay, you got a disc degeneration thing going on there. So what I'm doing is I'm propping up those vertebrae, and I'm putting stem cell energy in to help regenerate. You've got one disc that looks like it's really giving you issues, and you've got another one that's not quite as bad. It's almost like the disc is disintegrating. So I'm at it, which would allow less cushion, if you will. So I'm watching stem cell energy, which looks like gel with sparkles in it, and it will regenerate whatever is needed, whether it's disc or bone or brain matter or heart muscle or whatever. And once I see the gel added, then I watch it get centrifuged. I watch it spin really fast, and that's what generates the new tissue.
Oh,
so
good.
I've got that on and I'm seeing it on the left side of your lower back. That's where the problem is. On the left side.
They tell me it's on the left side, but the pain is on the right.
Yeah, because the left side's collapsing is what I'm seeing. So, and then I've put a netting on the end of those vertebrae to hold those discs in place. So I'm hoping that gives you some comfort. Look into this Tai Chi thing. I've gotten that probably 5 times now in my head.
Tai Chi, okay.
Tai Chi. So check that out.
Okay, I will.
Okay. Thanks for calling.
So much.
You are so welcome. I hope you feel better. Call back in and let us know how you're doing.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
All right. Bye, Carol.
Bye-bye.
All right. And our next caller is Miss Susie. Hi, Suze.
Oh, hi, Julie. Thanks for taking my call. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
I'm good, thanks. I want to thank you so much for last week. That was one of the most amazing things I've ever heard in my life when I asked about my cat, Coco, why she was acting so crazy and whether she was sick. And then you said my great-grandmother it turns out it was my great-grandmother that you said was visiting me, and I couldn't believe it because she'd been passed away like almost 38 years ago, and it was so exciting and wonderful. And then Coco actually did calm down, by the way. The next day she was calm, and then Saturday she got started running around again like crazy, and I wondered if that meant my great-grandmother was kind of, they were connecting or whatever, but it's really been super amazing to hear that she was visiting me, so thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. And last week when I called in, initially I was going to ask about my ankle, and then when Coco started acting up, while I was on the call, that's what prompted me to ask you about Coco, which I was so grateful. So now today, my ankle had been doing better, and then this week it's been extra stressful, and I don't know if the stress is, because I do have a torn tendon in the ankle that I'm, trying to heal, and I had days last week that it wasn't hurting at all, and then today it's hurting right now after coming home from the gym. And I'm just wondering if you see what you see in terms of the healing of that tendon, and if you can send some of your great inflammatory energy there that always seems to help.
Sure, you bet. By the way, when you were telling us about your great-grandmother and, excuse me, her being around, my legs were vibrating, which, as you know, is a sign that I get when that's validation for something. It's like my legs are buzzing. They were going,
so she's still here? Does that mean she's still here?
She's still there. She's still around you. And she's still telling me she thinks your cat's a nuisance. Isn't that what she said last week, Susie?
Yeah, something like that. Yes, thank you. Well, that's wonderful to hear. That's like the most, like I say, most amazing, exciting thing I've probably ever heard in my whole life. So thank you so much for being the one who shared that with me. Totally unexpected,
And we can talk to her, too, if you want to. I'll scan your ankle, but if you have questions for her, we can talk to her. So here we go. Tell everybody where you're calling from. I know where you are.
Yeah, San Francisco Bay Area, probably very close to wherever Carol is. East Bay.
Yes.
East Bay as well.
So here we go. All right, got you. Okay. Ankle. Yeah, it's inflamed. Let me get it calmed down.
Thank you.
Blue anti-inflammatory energy on it. Tendon's looking good, though. It's doing better.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Doing better. It's healing. We're gonna tweak it some. What it looks like to me, Susie, and I know I've told you this before, is there are strands that look like they're frayed. And it reminds me of the rope of a big ship when it docks, how they put the rope and they tie the ship, when it's in the dock. And sometimes those ropes they can be really, really like huge, almost 10 inches circumference-wise, and they're twisted. And sometimes parts of those threads get frayed. So that's what I see with muscle and tendon and ligament and stuff like that. And I see these blue, again, it's royal blue lines that are the energy field. The body in the energy field is called the fifth layer of the energy field. And that layer, everything looks blue to me, like a blueprint of a house or a building. And it's the lines that I see are energy that go into the human form, and they make up our muscles and all of that. But they're strands, they're hair-thin strands, and that's what I'm seeing in your tendon. So there are a lot more of them that are healed than I've ever seen, and so what I'm doing is I'm just connecting some more of them.
Great,
so that
thank you so much.
Yeah, so that it'll
Yay.
speed up the healing. And so what are you doing at the gym when you're there?
Well, I was doing the swimming since you recommended. I started swimming for the first time in years, and now they're remodeling the pool for a month. And so I am back to doing the bike, and today I did the elliptical. So I'm trying to alternate every other day between the bike and the elliptical.
I saw you on the elliptical. That's what I thought would,
Yeah, that's what I did today.
All right.
So, yeah, well, I wanted to ask, is my grandmother, you said she was here in my house, is she with me when I go to the store, or is she just hanging around the house? I was curious about that.
She's all over. She's with you wherever.
Okay, and can they help? Can she help me with? I know you said she was here to support me because she realized I was going through a tough time, and that was really, really amazing. And can she help with the situations, or is she just there to support? I guess I'm curious about how that works. I'm just amazed by this.
What spirits do when they're around us, and our spirit guides do this too, Susie, and so do angels, is they give us guidance. And guidance comes in like an idea. It can be called inspiration, like we're inspired to do something. We get an idea of something. And when we act on that idea, that's when things start to happen. So that's what I teach in my class, and you may want to look into joining us in April. But what I teach is how do you connect with those deceased loved ones and your spirit guides? How do you get the information from them? And more importantly, how do you validate that it's actually correct information coming from them? And then when you get it validated, that's when you want to act on it. And that's when the magic starts to happen. So inspiration comes in as a thought. Most people think they're going to hear it with their ears. That's not how spirits communicate. They communicate telepathically. And same with animals. That's how I can talk to Coco, your cat, is I communicate with her telepathically. So that's, again, what I teach in my class. And when we learn the skills to be able to do that, it enhances every area of our lives. And it's just magical, the things that unfold. And the people that took the sessions in March, end of February and March, oh my gosh, the stuff that's going on with them is just remarkable. And it's all because they've learned how to process this information and process the guidance they get because they've learned how to connect with spirit. So I figure it's like teaching somebody to read. If somebody can read, they can learn whatever they want. And my feeling is in this training, angelic attendant training is what I'm calling it, what I do is I teach them to communicate, and then it can go in whatever direction they want. So I would encourage you to look into that. And you can find information on my site, Sue'sAskJulieRyan.com. Just click the training tab. And
Thank you. Yeah, I looked before. Is it on a Saturday again? Because I usually have something on Saturday. Oh, okay. So I have multiple things on Saturdays. That's my problem. Is my Saturdays are all booked up with a couple different things I'm doing, the meditation class and stuff that we go every Saturday. But okay, well, thank you. I did look into it before, and I saw that it was on Saturday. But
well, and you may want to take a reprieve from your meditation class and do this, and it'll enhance your meditation class. Go back to it because it's only 4 weeks. So consider that too. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm sure I will. Thank you so much. Bless you. Take care.
All righty. We do this show every Thursday night, except next week because I'll be at a wedding. And it's at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, and 5 Pacific. The call-in number is 712-770-4160, and the access code is 533677#. You can find this information a whole bunch of different places. Anywhere you download podcasts, I believe we're on 4 dozen networks at least, and maybe more. And I think we're in 140 countries now. So wherever you like to get podcasts, it's in the show notes. It's also on my site, AskJulieRyan.com. If you scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, you'll see it there. And it's on social media. You can find it at AskJulieRyan.com. That's my site, duh. But Ask Julie Ryan is Instagram, my Instagram site, and also Ask Julie Ryan is my Facebook site. And I post something every week, kind of a reminder, hello, call into the show tonight. I got my postings up really late tonight, but, had a busy day and couldn't get it done before then. Also, I do a blog each week, and it's a question that somebody has submitted online. And I put a note in the email of the blog, hey, remember to call in with your question, and the call-in information is there as well. When you're on my site, sign up for my newsletter or my blog, and also sign up for a private session, because then I get you for a whole hour, and we can talk about whatever you want. We can do medical scans, PET scans, talk to your deceased loved ones, talk to your spirit guides, do past life stuff, all kinds of things. And it makes it really fun. And it's always a blast that I get to spend all that time alone with you. So consider doing that as well. And that's all at AskJulieRyan.com. All right. So here's this week's question, and it comes from somebody named Julie. She's supposed to be my twin, separated at birth or something. No, just kidding. She lives in Spruce Head, Maine. And she asked, hi, Julie, I've been teaching K through 8 visual art for 13 years, and even though I love the kids, to be honest, I'm bored. I would love to be able to do something different where I'm creative, that pays well and has good health insurance. Do you have any suggestions? Perhaps my deceased mother will come through with a message. Thank you, Julie. And here's my response. Hi, Julie. Love your name. In order to get some guidance for you, I connected to you in Maine. When I got you on my radar, your mom was standing to your right. Our deceased loved ones are always standing in that position. And I put in parentheses, they know when we're talking about them, which is really funny because whenever somebody says, can you talk to, like Susie just did, can you talk to my deceased great-grandmother? I get Susie on my radar or whomever, and that person who's deceased that we're talking about, their spirit is always right there to the right of them. And if it's multiple people, the first person they mention is closest to them, and then the subsequent people are further out from that person's right, which is just a riot. But that's just always how they line up. I went on to say, the guidance I received for you regarding your career was to explore a position with a municipal library in your area. By the way, your mother said you were fascinated with the library as a little girl. The job can entail utilizing your art knowledge and talents by working with children and people of all ages. It also included working in a municipal senior center. A little-known fact is, library employees are often paid a much larger salary than teachers, but like teachers, they also have great benefits and retirement programs. In addition, one of your spirit guides, calling himself Jacques, who lived as a man in 1813 in Lyon, France, offered his opinion. I laughed when I first saw that he appeared as a painter, wearing a beret and smock, a tan-colored smock, and holding a painter's palette and brush. Painter's palette is that thing that looks like it's a board and it's got different color, different splotches of paint on it, and that's what a painter uses when they're working on a painting. I was cracking up, you guys, when I saw this Jacques guy. I mean, he looked like something right out of some old French movie. It was a riot. I went on to say, Jacques said you might want to consider selling your paintings and starting a side business. He recommended doing painting parties for kids and adults, perhaps for birthdays and other events. He said these parties could be patterned after the Sips and Strokes model, except you could go to the party wherever it was being held instead of having the guests come to you. By providing art supplies and giving some simple instructions, you could provide joy to a lot of people and get paid for doing so. Hope these ideas are helpful. Thanks for your question. Now, Sips and Strokes used to be really big several years ago, where you'd go usually to a strip mall and they'd have a studio and you could get all these painting things. You get a canvas and paintbrush and all of that, and you could go with your friends and they'd serve you wine and cheese and crackers or whatever, which is really fun. I did that several times, and I am by no means an artiste and I am not a painter, but my stuff turned out pretty good, actually. And so this Jacques guy, Julie, wants you to consider taking that business model, but taking it to somebody's home or somebody's party place where they're holding a party, and do it with kids and then also do it with adults. And I thought that was a really interesting idea. And he was saying, based on the fact that you were a teacher of art, that you know how to do this, and it would just be really fun for somebody, and you could charge, a decent amount of money for it, and that it might be something that you would enjoy. So I hope that helps, and thanks so much for sending your question in. Everybody that's listening, if you can't join us in a show, on a show night on a Thursday night, send a question into the website, AskJulieRyan.com, and then one is chosen each week, and I answer it, and that's what I read on the air, and that's what the theme of the podcast is each week, primarily so I can have a picture to have my graphic artist come up with some kind of an image so I could put it up on the website and advertise it. So that's why I come up with a different theme each week. It comes from the question that's been chosen that has been submitted online. So AskJulieRyan.com, and then you'll see a tab that just says Ask a Question. Also, wanted to remind you to register for the free drawing that I do each week on the first Thursday of the month. And you just have to do these 3 easy things. First of all, follow me on Instagram at AskJulieRyan. Secondly, write a review about why you like the podcast on iTunes. And you just go to itunes.com/AskJulieRyan, and you'll be able to write a review there. And number 3, subscribe to my blog at AskJulieRyan.com, and you'll see a button that you can push, and you just put in your first name and your email address, and then you'll get my blog each week. So with that, we are out of time. Thank you to everybody that called in this evening. Thank you to all of you listening. I appreciate it. That's why I do this free drawing each week, and it's for a 1-hour private session valued at $155 with me. And it says a thank you to all of you for listening and being part of this community. Hope you have a wonderful week. I will talk to you in 2 weeks. And to those of you that are in the blizzard, stay safe. And I hope that hope your power stays on. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye now.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to follow Julie on Twitter at AskJulieRyan and like her on Facebook at AskJulieRyan. For information on how you can ask Julie your question, please visit AskJulieRyan.com.